In this demonstration of the VRE data system, I'm going to describe how the VRE can receive, parse, and consume DICOM datasets that contain various specific character sets. In these examples, I'll use Japanese, Chinese, Russian, and Korean. You can use those values to preserve patient identifiers and also study identifiers, and also use those characters to search directly for a study description that may contain those specific character sets. In this example, I'll use the study UID for the Japanese that we have. You can expand the study, click on the thumbnail, view in the pop-up. The DICOM header has the specific character set code for Japanese, in this case 87. And you can retrieve the DICOM directly to an SCP and verify that the character sets are preserved. This highlighted example here in Notepad++ shows you the name of the patient that's been uploaded. In this case, Yamada Taro. The SCP receives the data. And you can see the name is available here actually in the text box for this simple SCP. We can save the file and open it in a clinical application to confirm the header as well. Right here. And there you can see again that the characters match, and you can also see it in the DICOM header as well for 1010. You see them there. The other thing that we can do is actually search using the specific character sets. In this case, I could search for a study description using the character sets directly in the VRE tool. And all of these updates and transfers can actually occur from the VRE simulator as they use the same backend. And as you can see, it retrieved this sample data set with a sample Japanese name in it. If the web browser is configured to view and display various character sets, they'll also display. The next example I'll go through is Chinese. Before I do that, I wanted to show how VRE can update the header using sample character sets. In this case, I'm going to put the Japanese words for sampuru kanji, sample kanji. I'll retrieve that into my SCP. Select it and send it directly to the SCP. And you'll see the updated DICOM header with the value here that I've highlighted in Notepad++. And you can see the values here, they match. I use them for the patient name and the last name and first name. The next example is Chinese. Again, you can select the data set, retrieve it. Send it directly to a simple SCP. And you can see the patient name matches according to the source data set from the archive. We can save that. Open it in a clinical viewer. And you can see again that the character sets are preserved. Again, with Chinese, I'm able to, with VRE, users can update to new values. In this example, I'm using the characters that I believe mean sample in Chinese. I can retrieve those. And you can see those actually here. And we can again save the file out. Open in a clinical viewer. And verify again. In the upper left corner, you can see I've used that. Those new characters are now the patient first and last name. So what this shows is that you can not only consume character sets into VRE, but you can also update according to that language in any way that needs to be done for testing. Here's a very similar example using Cyrillic. Over here on the left, you can see in Notepad what the patient name is in the original data and the study description, etc. You can see that here, it's come across. Again, we can open that in a clinical viewer. And again, you can see that the characters match in the upper left corner compared to this location here in Notepad++. The other thing that we can do is we can actually search for that study in Cyrillic directly here using the study description. And there it is. Come over here and retrieve it. And I can update it. I'll update it to this word, which according to Google means sample. I'll put that duplicate for the first and last name. Send it to the sample SCP with the updated value. And again, all these changes and updates can be made using the VRE simulator. As you can see, the name came across. Again, we can save the file, open it in a clinical viewer, confirm that there it is. If we look at that DICOM header, we can still see the study description that was used to find it. 8/10/31, 8/10/30 rather. And there you can see a portion of it is right there. I'm not sure how to pronounce that in Russian, but I'm assuming it's something that makes sense. And then the same example would apply for Korean. In this case, we could actually do a search using Korean directly in the application. You paste Korean directly into the UI. Anywhere in the VRE system. Supports all these character sets. It found the study. We can retrieve it. When it's received, we can see what the patient name should look like here in Notepad++. There it is. We can save the file. Open it in a clinical viewer. And verify it matches there. And it does. I mean, to the extent that you can sort of identify the character sets which may be unfamiliar. And that's an example of handling multiple character sets for uploading and consumption and modifying the header and working with them in various ways.